And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Really pleased to have you with us again tonight as we'll talk some more men's and women's basketball. We are in the heat of the conference portion of the schedule as we come down the stretch in USA South Conference play, and we've got guests from both the women's and men's basketball programs coming up shortly. But before we get going, do want to thank all of our sponsors of Brevard College Athletics. Really appreciate their support. Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Pardee Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their sponsorship of Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and do want to take a moment once again to recognize a very, very special partner of ours who we got started with this past fall, just doing a great job helping our student athletes, recognizing Pardee Sports Medicine and Southeastern Sports Medicine Orthopedics, the official healthcare provider for the BC Tornadoes. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Pardee also offers care in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Pardee Sports Medicine, proud partners with Brevard College Athletics. Well, to catch you up around the world of Brevard College Athletics, spring sports underway. Every spring sport has begun practices officially for their spring seasons. It was great today. We had a 60-degree high in terms of the temperature here in Brevard, North Carolina, and all the teams were out there getting prepared for this upcoming spring season. For you to get prepared, go to bctornadoes.com. The calendar function there, there's a composite schedule that you can start to map out your spring sport schedule for yourself. Love to see you here at a Brevard College event. And this weekend, there's actually some action as well. Softball will have a scrimmage up the road at Mars Hill. That's at Saturday, a doubleheader beginning at 11 a.m. up at Mars Hill. And then also a scrimmage here on the campus of Brevard College as the women's lacrosse team will take on the Western Carolina University club team. That's at Saturday at 11 a.m. at Eyes Lamel Family Field. So come on out this Saturday, check out the women's lacrosse program. If you're up in the Mars Hill area, maybe check out the softball team. Great to see them getting going. Well, some breaking news coming on the men's basketball side. Jada Carnes has been named the USA South Conference Men's Basketball Rookie of the Week. Freshman Jada Carnes, just a bust-out game, 25 career points with 6 rebounds this past weekend. A really remarkable performance versus Mary Baldwin. Carnes just taking over at times. So congratulations to Jada Carnes, USA South Men's Basketball Rookie of the Week selection. Next up for the men's basketball team at Southern Virginia this Saturday at 2 p.m. up in Buena Vista, Virginia. And then the next home game for the Tornadoes men's basketball team versus Greensboro. That's on Tuesday, February the 7th at the Bosch. Women's basketball, now they had a thriller over the weekend and did not go the way of the Tornadoes' favor. A 81-79 final and overtime defeat at Southern Virginia up there in Buena Vista, Virginia. We'll be talking some women's basketball shortly here. Tornadoes able to bounce right back and get back into their winning ways with a trip at Pfeiffer. That's tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then this Friday, the women's basketball team back at the Bosch. Hope you can join us for this one. 6 p.m. on Friday night at the Boschmer Gymnasium. That's the tip-off between the Tornadoes and North Carolina Wesleyan in USA South Conference play. It's also the Play for K game, which is a national program. The coach Kay Yao, who so many people remember so fondly, the Play for K game honoring cancer survivors. Hope you can help and join that important cause as well. And it's also going to be a celebration of National Girls and Women in Sports Day, which happens this week also. And if you're able to get out here to the Bosch, don't leave your seats at halftime, because we're going to put on a bit of a spectacle on the Boschmer Gymnasium floor, getting all the female student athletes and all the female administrators of sport, athletic trainers, coaches, all out for a giant photo op and a chance to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And then Saturday, the Tornadoes women's basketball team right back in action. 2 p.m. Senior Day. We'll be honoring Senior Journey, Tyler. And with that, we are going to invite in our first guest of the evening. Really pleased to have making her 2022-23 Tornado Talk debut, assistant coach Annalee Bollinger. Coach Bollinger, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Well, Coach, let's touch real quickly on this game because I don't know if a lot of people were able to really watch the stream and follow it closely. I mean, whenever you see the letters OT after a score, you know this thing was tight. Can you recap us a bit how that game unfolded up there in Buena Vista, Virginia?
It's a tough one, and it really is. We went up there first and second quarter, didn't play our best ball, kind of got ourselves into a hole. Going to halftime, we were like, we just got to chip away. We just got to fight back. We go out there, we have a solid third quarter, and then we really got into it in the fourth. And hats off to the girls. It's hard to come back from a 16, 17-point deficit, and they fought back the entire time. Ended up, China Pouncey made 2 big free throws to put us into overtime. And we had a chance, like even down what we were, we had a chance to go and win it, and just wasn't in the cards for us that night.
Yeah, but a big opportunity beginning tomorrow with this game at Pfeiffer. You played Pfeiffer earlier this season. The rematch, the second part of the series happening tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about the preparation for Pfeiffer.
Yeah, so playing on the first game, we had 3-4 home games in a row. Really big stretch for us, and I think that was the last game. I thought we were a little fatigued, didn't play our best basketball, but still able to come out with a win and did some really good things. And going into the game tomorrow, it's a team that can really score it very quickly. Some really good guards and a good coach, a solid team. But we're prepared, and we watched a ton of film today, and we know what we're going to do in our game plan. We'll be prepared.
And then back-to-back home games. You mentioned that stretch of 4 home games in a row, but it's makes such a difference. I don't think people realize the kind of home court advantage we can create there at the Bosch with a nice crowd there, and opportunities Friday at 6:00 versus NC Wesleyan, Saturday, which is also Senior Day, versus Meredith. Coach, help me kind of, sell women's basketball here to folks and get them out here to the Bosch, and how much it really makes a difference for those players on the court to hear the crowd behind them.
Yeah, when I see home game on the schedule, I'm ecstatic. There's nothing like playing at the Bosch. Our fans are amazing, the family, friends. We have a lot of family members and parents that come out, and then we get a ton of administrators and other coaches and students, and it's awesome. There's nothing like playing at the Bosch. The energy's unreal. You hit a couple shots, and it's going to get really, really loud in there. Smaller, older gym. So it's really nice to be on home court. And playing NC Wesleyan, who's a really good team, and Meredith is playing really good ball right now. So I'm really happy that we get to have them at home and not back on the road.
Yeah, and as far as someone who knows what it means to play at the Bosch, 2019 graduate of Brevard College, now, of course, an alum of Brevard College. Coach, when you think back, it probably feels like a long time ago now, right? I mean, I remember seeing you as a player, and now here you are, of course, as a member of the coaching staff. But can you talk a little bit about that, as far as you bringing your experience as a player for the Tornadoes into this coaching role?
Yeah, coming to Brevard was the best decision I made. I transferred in as a sophomore, and Coach Hudson's first year as a head coach was my first year playing here. And I didn't realize how great the community was and our fans. And, I was a shooter. I hit a couple of shots. It's getting really loud. Now I'm going to hit my next one, and my next one is going to continue to get louder. So that was such a special thing for me to play here. And then to bring it into the team, it's just I lived it. I lived the classroom. I lived the gym. I lived the practices. I've been there for it all. And the girls sometimes are like, wow, yeah, I've been there, So it's really special to be able to come back and kind of coach where you played. A lot of people don't get that opportunity, and it's really special.
Yeah, and as the graphic shows there, you set a school record in 3-pointers made. You eclipse the 1,000-point mark while you're here at Brevard. A lot of memories from those days. One of the more prolific players to come through this program, Annalee Bollinger, now a member of the coaching staff with Coach Hudson. Now, Coach Bollinger, this past summer, the summer of 2022, you were in Europe, and it's not like you were over there backpacking, taking your rail around, seeing the sights necessarily. You were hard at work as sharpening your skills as a basketball coaching professional. Please tell us as much as you can about that experience in Europe this past summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Austria, Germany, and Italy, and the United World Games is what it's called, and it's held in Austria, like Klagenfurt. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly still to this day. Klagenfurt, Austria. It's kind of a tournament there, and we played teams from Holland and Germany, Austria, Italy, kind of all over the world. And there were some other American teams there too. And we played in a tournament. It was about 3-4 days, and Germany and Austria were kind of just stops along the way. Kind of got to experience something that I've never done. I've never been overseas like that. Been out of the country, but never been to Europe. It was super special. And Olivia Miller actually went on the trip, and she played. And so that was super cool to see her in action over the summer too. But ended up winning a silver medal, which is really cool. The women's basketball hadn't medaled in a long time in the United World Games. Lost in triple overtime on a bucket. It was tough. It was really tough, but one of the coolest experiences I've ever done. Highly, highly suggest, especially young coaches that don't have a family yet, can kind of get overseas and coach. I highly promote it.
All right, a couple follow-up questions on this, Coach. First, the language, difference and so forth. As far as like in the basketball part of it, I mean, I know, of course, when you're traveling to Europe, it's part of the equation. But as far as the basketball part of it, dealing with these different teams from around the world, dealing with, referees, game administrators, all these things, how challenging and maybe rewarding at times was that whole experience as far as people from different cultures, different languages, and so forth?
Yeah, I got hit with it quick. First game, I made a mistake. I didn't know one of the rules. It was different from how we play it in the United States, and I was like, "What? How is that happening?" And they were like, "Oh, that's the rule." So I had to learn very quickly new rules, and their coaches are shouting things out. I have no idea what they're saying. I ended up picking up 3 Austrians to play on my team too. So I had 6 Americans, 3 Austrians. They had no idea what I was saying half the time. I had no idea what they were saying, but I just looked at them and I said, "Just play hard. Just play basketball." And basketball, it can change a little bit, but basketball is the same game everywhere. The goal is to put it in a basket, play extremely hard. And I couldn't have asked for better kids to be out there and experience with it, because they did everything I asked them to do, regardless of the language barrier. But it was so cool to see the different cultures and kind of how they went about things. And I learned so much from the experience.
Yeah, and as far as what you learned, can you give us a few examples as far as like the coaching part in specific things that you were able to pick up there and now bring back here to Brevard College?
Yeah, I haven't sat in the driver's seat much, so that was my first head coaching debut. I would say just you can get caught up in the game. I didn't realize that, like when to call timeouts, your substitutions, your rotations, your lineups. What's a good play call for this? Knowing their different defenses, what we can throw at them. So a lot of that stuff is something I wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to always as an assistant coach. And Coach Hudson does a really good job of putting me in those positions sometimes, and he really values my opinion. And I learned so much from him, but it's different, when you're calling the shots. And I was kind of winging it sometimes, but I learned as I go, and I think I grew and I got better every game that I coached over there. And it's something that I'll take forward in my head coaching career.
Outstanding, Coach. Well, last one before we bring in the student athletes who are waiting backstage. Coach, this year you guys have been having a phenomenal season. All you have to do is look at the record and your place in the standings and that kind of thing. But I'd love to hear from your perspective, why this team is, succeeding as much as they have, why they're special, and, once again, why folks need to tune in, this weekend and come on out here to the Bosch. But you work with these student athletes so closely, the makeup of this team and also, what makes them tick.
Yeah, I'll speak to coming out to see us first. We're really fun, regardless of the outcome of the game. I promise that you're going to have a good time. It's going to be a show. We're going to work extremely hard, and you won't regret coming to watch us play. It's always going to be a good time. As for the makeup of the team, I'm not going to take anything for granted. These girls are really talented. We have a really, really talented group, and sometimes that pulls us through. But like in practice and throughout the year, they do everything that we ask them to do. They make mistakes, yes, so do we. But everything that we say and that we're coaching, they try their best to do it. And I think that's where it starts. And our culture is good, and they're fun, and they get along. I think for the most part, if they don't, I don't know. But they're really fun on the road. They're fun on the court, and they compete regardless of the outcome. Just like the other night, down 16, 17, and they're just fighting right back. They're competing for the start to finish until the buzzer sounds, and that's kind of propelled them. But a lot of it is working hard and the talent that they have, and I can't take that away from them. They're a really, really special group. They're fun to watch. They're fun to coach, and we've been here for a while. I played kind of in the trenches. Like, we were not good. We were not there yet, but I felt it as each year that I was here. Like, I was like, we're growing. The program's growing, and Coach Hudson's done an awesome job of kind of getting great lineups and makeups of teams. So it's special to see how far we've come from 2016 when I started here to now. It's almost night and day difference. And a lot of that goes to the players that are in, but Coach Hudson for recruiting and continuing to grow in his career.
Outstanding. I've really enjoyed, watching the program grow and grow each year and in each year in, year out. And, watching this year's version of the team has been a joy as well. And so, can't wait to see what's around the corner here, Coach. I know you guys are focused on Pfeiffer tomorrow, and then we'll see you at the Bosch this weekend. Can you stick with us just 1 or 2 moments longer? We're going to invite in a couple of the women's basketball student athletes now.
Yep, absolutely.
As joining the program now, we have Shania Hauser down there in the bottom right location. Then bottom left, you see Jada Wilkins. Coach, I'm going to turn it back over to you to help introduce these outstanding student athletes to NATO Nation.
Yeah, Jada Wilkins is a freshman. Shania Hauser is a sophomore. I'm glad that Coach Hudson picked these two. These are two of the fun ones. First off, really, really good people. And it's funny because our relationship, we have really special relationships with both of these players. I really enjoy having them on the team. And these are two people that are doing exactly as I say. Like, we say something and they do everything they can to do what we're telling them to do. And they're both learning and growing, and they're both really young and have a ton of time to develop. But I can see how much they've grown from literally when they stepped on campus to now, not only as basketball players, but as people. And it's such a joy to have them as part of our family. I can't wait to see them graduate and see what they do, after college. But I love having them on the court. They play hard. They run through people. They run through a wall for you. And honestly, you can't ask for much more than that.
Outstanding. Well said, Coach. Well, we're going to have some fun with them over these next few minutes here. So looking forward to this conversation. But thanks again for joining the program, and really looking forward to seeing you back on the hardwood here at the Bosch this weekend. Good luck at Pfeiffer.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there she goes, assistant coach Annalee Bollinger. And as she helped us introduce so nicely, we have Shania Hauser. Shania, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. And Jada Wilkins making her Tornado Talk debut. Welcome aboard, Jada.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. Yeah. So, Shania, let's start with you. Coach talked about how you guys have fun, and I'd like to hear from you as far as sort of how you guys balance it. Having fun, keeping each other loose and that kind of thing. But then also when it's time to get serious, y'all do it. I see y'all, you guys have a good time, but when it's showtime, when it's time for the game, when it's time for practice, you guys are getting it done. Can you talk about that a little bit as far as, how you guys balance that as a team?
Yeah. So I think the most important part is like having fun. Like, that's what we came here to do, play basketball and have fun. So practice time, it gets serious, like games and everything.
Yeah.
To say I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem. I mean, Jada, what are your thoughts? Because it's kind of like, in Coach Hudson, I heard him speak of it in an interview, how different players have sort of different styles and what works for them. I mean, some of them are super, super loose and joking, even in the pregame warmups. And then there's others, who are, got their game face on. Hey, don't talk to her. She's zeroed in, Can you talk about that a little bit? How you guys keep it fun, and that helps you guys in the game when you're relaxed, right?
Yeah, it does. You have those certain ones that, love to have fun, keep everybody's energy, try to keep everybody loose. You have the ones that's like, stay toned in, locked in on the game, practice. Everyone is like different. Everyone has their different ways of getting ready for the game. We just do what we got to do, make it happen.
Yeah, and you guys have been making it happen. A lot of W's in that column this year for sure. Shania Hauser, sophomore forward from Statesville, North Carolina. Shania, tell us a little bit about your journey. When did you start playing basketball? When did it get serious? And then how did you find Brevard College?
I started playing when I was in like fourth grade. I got serious around high school, I guess. And funny story actually about how I found Brevard. My best friend from high school went here, and I helped her move in. And then Coach Hudson recruited me, and I came on a visit, and I loved it, so I committed here.
Awesome. And you're now a sophomore. What are the differences between, being a freshman and kind of, still kind of figuring out things as far as, where everything's located and, the whole routine of being a college student, and now as a sophomore with 1 year under your belt?
Um, I'm still like trying to find my way with the help of my teammates, but it's definitely easier being a sophomore than a freshman, of course. So yeah.
Yeah. And does it feel different, Shania, on the court as far as like, sort of you taking on more of a leadership role and in helping the players who are now, there's some on the team now younger than you?
Yeah, I feel like as a freshman, well, for me personally, like when I went in, I was like, I cannot mess up, even though like that's gonna happen. But now I play like more loosely still, and like talking to them, I'm like, you're fine, which I know like freshmen probably still have that mentality, like, oh, I can't mess up. But yeah, so.
And Jada, can you talk a little bit about the support of your teammates and how important it is to have the older players who can kind of show you around and say, hey, this is how we do things around here?
Yeah, it definitely helps because, if you don't mess up one your time practice or something, they're going to get on you. They're going to let you know when you're right or you're wrong. But being a freshman coming in, of course, it was definitely different. They're very nervous, but as the time come on, there you get used to it, and you still have the encouragement of the older players, tell you just keep going, keep pushing, you'll be all right at the end.
Absolutely. And, great coaching staff. We saw Coach Annalee Bollinger on the show earlier, head coach Donald Hudson. Jada out of Tryon, North Carolina, not all that far from us here at Brevard College. Same question for you. When did you start, really getting serious about basketball? When did you, maybe play for the first time? But then ultimately, how did you find Brevard?
I started playing when I was in first grade, kind of a thing in our family to make all everybody play basketball or some type of sport. But I got serious about it in middle school is when I realized I was like, yeah, I definitely want to go to college and play. I found Brevard, actually Nalia Boyce and Asia Short. I've known them for like years, and they were here and they was telling me about it and how everything is. And it was like, kind of want to come here, have people here already know they can show me the ropes and everything. And Coach Hud and Coach AB, they just got in touch, and now I'm here.
How cool is that for you to have longtime friends on the team and Nalia and Aisha? How comforting was that once you got here to say, hey, I've got a couple of my old buddies here on the team?
It was amazing. It felt good to have people here I already knew, so that way I'm not, just trying to still find new people.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All right, we got to follow up here. When Coach gets on, we've got to honor this request. She says, "Tell that one story." Jada, you know what she's talking about?
So, they don't know if this is the story she want me to tell, but it was when she was coaching at Avert. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Avert, yep.
Avert. She was coaching there, and they tried to recruit me there. I went on a visit and everything, and then I kind of, ghosted her because in that point in time I was like in a spot where I didn't know like for sure if I wanted to go play or not. So I kind of ghosted her, and then that's when Nalia and Asia came in. They told me about it. Nalia really got in touch with me about it the most, and then that's when she started telling Coach EB, and they got to Coach Hud, and they just all started texting me. And then I got here.
Nice. You gotta love that. And is it cool to play at a college, Jada, that's pretty close to home? Being from Tryon, North Carolina, has that been rewarding to be within striking distance?
It has been to have my family closer. They're able to get to games easier than if I was further away.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Shania, let's shift over to the classroom. Have you zeroed in on a major? Have you selected a major yet? And can you let us know kind of what you're focused on with your studies?
Yes, I'm a health science major. After I graduate, I plan to go to physician assistant school.
Excellent. Great program here at Brevard College in that field, no doubt. And Jada, I know you're early in your college career, but have you started to zero in on a specific major perhaps? And what have been some of the classes you've been taking here?
I have been physical education recreation is the one I'm thinking about the most. As far as classrooms go, I've taken right now since I just kind of like decided I'm taking a class to get me more towards that, and it's helping a lot. Let me know that that's what I really want to have as my major.
Outstanding. All right, one more basketball question, then we'll get to the real fun stuff. Hey, you guys are getting on the stretch run here of the USA South Conference, play. You guys are right there on the, towards the top of the standings. And, what is the key to you guys as far as preparation and then execution for getting wins from here on out down the stretch? Jada, you want to start us off?
Basically just staying focused, knowing when to be serious and how to balance being serious and fun at the same time. We've learned to really do that as a team, knowing when to stay balanced and keep our heads level and keeping everybody the same energy. So we've been doing pretty well with that as the season been going.
Shania, what do you feel is the key for you guys to win big the rest of the way here?
I feel like really locking in on scout and personnel and sharing the ball and not just playing for ourselves but for each other. I think that would definitely help us win.
Yeah, well said. Well, all right. Before I let you go, the floor is going to be each of yours for as long as you want. Really, it's not like we got to hustle to a commercial break or anything. You have the chance to give any shout outs, thank yous, well wishes, whatever kind of love you want to project out there to anybody who comes to mind. The floor is yours. We'll start with Jada Wilkins.
Oh, thank
God. Basically, shout out to my family for sure for always supporting, being there. Shout out to all the student sections because they keep the energy always.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hillary Gardner, HG3 for supporting everybody throughout the season. He supported a lot of us throughout the whole season. And shout out to the coaches as well. Can't forget them.
All right. Well done. You got a lot in there in a short amount of time. Shania Hauser, the same opportunity for you. Shout outs. Thank yous.
Definitely a big shout out to my family for the support. Former coaches, teammates. Oh shoot. Current coaches, thank you too. I think that's all.
Yeah, I think you guys covered some good ground there. So this was one of the more loose and fun interviews I've had here on Tornado Talk. I want to congratulate you for that. And I just can't wait to see you guys back in action as well. We'll see you this weekend at the Bosch. Keep up the good work. Good luck tomorrow at Pfeiffer. And we can't wait to see you back here at the Bosch this weekend, games Friday and Saturday. Shania Hauser, Jada Wilkins on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the program.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
All right. And there they go. We're going to quickly switch gears now and invite in from the men's basketball side, Associate Head Coach Miles Leathers joining the program. Coach Leathers, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Yeah, great to have you here, Coach. Well, some unique situations this weekend. I do want to let people know in case they didn't see the game. Coach Burgess was out. Unfortunately with COVID. Good news, he's on his way back. Back here to Brevard College, but you were thrust into the position of handling things this weekend. With Coach Burgess, at home. And fourth season on the BC staff here, Coach Leathers, great work, guiding the team through the weekend. But I know it probably came with a bunch of challenges as well. Can you talk about from your perspective as far as being, thrust into that role? And, I would imagine that's a huge learning experience also for a coach like yourself.
Oh yeah, Phil, absolutely, absolutely. First and foremost, obviously Coach Burgess, he was out. Definitely happy that he's feeling a lot better and should be back tomorrow. Obviously we were in constant communication throughout the day. But yeah, like you said, it was definitely a learning experience. I learned a lot. I watched the film back a handful of times, so it's kind of cool to see. After going through it and then rewatching it, some of the things that I wish I could have did differently, or some of the things that you don't see in real time, and then you go back and watch it, and you say to yourself, "Oh, I wish I could have did that," or "I wish I could have did that." But overall, like I said, it was a good experience. I did feel like I was comfortable. I did feel like the guys were engaged and the guys gave max effort and energy. Obviously, not the result that we wanted, but one of my good friends, he told me after the game, it's no losses, only lessons. So that's the mindset I kind of had going into it. It was going to be a learning experience, win, lose, or draw. So I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I can definitely take that experience onto the next chapter for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you ran into a hot shooting Mary Baldwin team in the meantime, but I would imagine really valuable experience. But what people might not realize is that you've been at the helm of our JV program here at Brevard College the last few seasons, so you've got experience, running a team from that head spot. Can you tell us a little bit about that, experience for you, but also the experience for those student athletes to be able to compete on the JV team?
Oh, it's vital. It's vital, Phil. I really appreciate having the opportunity to coach our JV team. Those guys do a great job with that. They're super engaged and they're definitely into it. Those guys, they appreciate that experience as well. So, it's definitely something that I took as far as being the JV head coach, kind of use that as a tool going into Saturday's game. So, every experience is definitely appreciated, and it's definitely something that I value for sure. So, just being the head coach of the JV team is definitely something that is vital for me, and it's definitely something that I appreciate, and I appreciate the opportunity for sure.
Yeah, as we mentioned, in your fourth season here at Brevard College, and really settled into this role now, the associate head coach here at Brevard, and also just like our previous guest, we had Coach Bollinger on the show. To open the show this evening, Coach, and you're a BC graduate yourself, a 2016 graduate, now a member of the alumni here at Brevard College, and a prolific career as a player playing under Coach Burgess. Only BC player in school history to do the following: 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, 250 assists, and 100 steals. So talking about a guy who got it done in all phases. But Coach, love to hear from you as far as your playing experience here at Brevard College, now as a coach, what Brevard College means to you, but also, what that experience meant as far as, propelling you towards this coaching career.
Yeah, just as far as my playing experience here, first and foremost, I would definitely want to thank Coach Burge for giving me the opportunity to play here. Coming out of high school, I didn't really have that many opportunities to play at the college level. I did feel like I was good enough, but sometimes all you need is opportunity. And Coach Burgess, he came in and he gave me an opportunity to play, compete, and I really just took it and ran with it. I didn't ask for any handouts. I didn't try to do anything out of the ordinary. I just came in and just played as hard as I could. I was coachable. I pretty much did everything Coach Burgess needed me to do. So just as far as the numbers really didn't mean too much. I just wanted to win. That's all it really was. If my team needed me to score, I did my best to score. If they needed me to rebound, I did my best to rebound. If they needed me to get steals, get assists, whatever the case may be, I'm a guy who just wants to compete and wants to win. So, the numbers are nice, but at the end of the day, my main concern was just trying to do the best for our team to be in the best position to win. So just from a playing standpoint, I definitely had a great experience here at Brevard. I got my degree in 2016. And, Brevard just means a lot to me. I have a lot of pride in the program. I do want to see the program thrive. I want to see the program, reach new heights and things like that. So overall, Brevard definitely has a big spot in my heart. And I just want to continue to watch the program and the school just grow and just continue to thrive and continue to just be the best school and institution and program they could possibly be.
And Coach, as a quick follow-up to that, that has to make it very easy for you and very natural for you to speak with recruits and prospective student athletes who are thinking about coming here to Brevard. Not only, you've worked here as a coach, several years now, but the idea that, hey, I played on this very court throughout my playing career.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do my best to share stories with recruits, share my experience. I tell guys, and I'm pretty transparent when I'm telling recruits, this is an opportunity that, if you do pursue it, you can take it and run with it, and you can take it and, be successful on the court and off the court. And it's pretty much on them once they get here to really, put that vision into action. So, it's really good that I can, I just do my best to share my experience. And I also like to get our guys involved as far as sharing their experiences with recruits as well. So overall, I do feel like for recruits that Brevard can be a great place. It can definitely be an opportunity, and it can be a place to grow and just be the best player that you can possibly be and be the best man that you can possibly be.
Yeah, well said. Back to the here and now, Coach. Next up, a trip to Southern Virginia on Saturday at 2 p.m. and then the next home game versus Greensboro on Tuesday, the 7th at the Bosch. Can you tell us a little bit about this week? What's in the cards as far as the schedule goes, but also as far as the prep and the scout goes for Southern Virginia?
Absolutely. So after our game this past Saturday, gave the guys two days off. So had Sunday off, had today off, and we'll hit it hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Obviously we're playing a really good Southern Virginia team. We played them the first time in the Bosch, got beat pretty good. We learned a lot. Like I said, going back to no losses, only lessons. So I feel like we learned a lot from that first encounter with those guys. They play really fundamentally sound basketball. They have talented guys. They play together. They play as a unit. They run good action. They run good sets and things like that. So it's gonna be a tall task to go up there and beat those guys in their home gym. So we have to have a really good week of prep as far as guys internalizing the scout, getting their bodies prepared, getting their minds prepared. This is going to be a really big game Saturday. We're battling, we're scratching, we're clawing to get into the conference tournament, and that's a goal that we have. And this Saturday is going to be huge as far as the implications for that. So we're going to prepare the best way we can. We're going to put our best foot forward with our preparation, and we're going to travel up, and we're going to give it everything we got on Saturday. So we're definitely looking forward to it. The guys are still in good spirits, and I do feel like we'll have a good prep, and I feel like we'll go up Saturday and put our best foot forward.
Excellent. Well, appreciate again, Coach, the leadership that was on display these past few days. Great news that Coach Burgess will be back on campus tomorrow, Tuesday as well. And appreciate you joining the program this evening. Are you able to stick with us just a couple more moments? We're going to invite in a couple of the men's basketball student athletes, if you can stick around here for a minute or two.
Absolutely.
All right, joining the program now in that bottom left location is Charles Reed, and also we have Garrett Sutherland in the house. Coach, I'll turn it back over to you. Help introduce these two outstanding student athletes to NATO Nation.
Oh, absolutely. I'll start off with Charles Reed. Love Charles, loves what he brings to our program. He's a guy who's going to compete night in and night out. He's a guy that, he has the heart of a lion. He's going to guard you. He's going to contest every shot. He's going to, try to pursue every rebound. His value to the team, it's not always shown on the stat sheet, but guys like that are guys that, coaches love. He's definitely a coach's dream for sure. So, love Charles, appreciate everything that he brings to the table. And, overall, he's a really good player for our program. And, second, Garrett Sutherland, another really, really good piece for us. He's a guy that leads by example, plays extremely hard, extremely versatile as well, can shoot from the outside, can score in the post, can guard, has good length, good athleticism. So these are two great representations of our program, and we love and appreciate both of these guys for sure.
Outstanding, Coach. Well, best of luck this week as you prepare for Southern Virginia. Can't wait to see you guys back in action next week. Next up, 8 days away till that Greensboro contest. And thanks again for joining the program this evening.
Absolutely, Phil. Thanks for having me. All
right, there he goes, Coach Miles Leathers. Now joined by men's basketball student athletes Charles Reed and Garrett Sutherland. Garrett Sutherland in the upper right location as he shifts, through the option here. And great to have you with us, Garrett. How are you doing this night?
I'm good, Phil. How are you doing?
Excellent, thank you. And also with us, Charles Reed on the program. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, Charles, let's start with you. We'll start with kind of where you guys are at right now. Coach said a couple of days off. I know you guys are hungry, to get some of these conference wins down the stretch here and, make some noise. What's going to be the key this week, as far as the preparation goes, as far as you guys, staying focused and getting ready for that trip to Southern Virginia?
Yeah, staying focused is the main key. The season, this is not how we hope the season to be, but we still got 5 games left. So we're going to try to go out there and compete and fight our hearts out.
Yeah, same question for you, Garrett. What's the objective this week?
We just got to string together 4 really good days of practice, high intensity, and then have that carry over up in Virginia when we go up there. But it really starts on the practice floor for us and really competing these 4. It's rare we get 4 practices in a row before a game in conference play, so we really got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, Garrett. And Garrett, sophomore forward out of Atlanta, Georgia. Tell us a little bit about that upbringing in Atlanta. Obviously, all sorts of amazing, high school basketball throughout that location. And, eventually you found your way here to Brevard College. But tell us about your high school playing experience, maybe, some of the competition you faced, but then also, your journey to get here to Brevard.
No, the competition in Atlanta has been incredible throughout my upbringing. I've played against many high-level Division I players, and my senior year of high school, we had a great team. We ended up having 6 or 7 college basketball players on that team. We went on to win a state championship. Through that, I had a handful of schools look at me. Coach Miles reached out to me, and I decided Brevard was the best fit academically and athletically for me through that process.
Outstanding. Well, we're glad you found your way here, no doubt about that. And Charles Reed, junior guard out of Concord, North Carolina. Now, Charles is one of several players from that sort of Charlotte metro area, and you're out of Concord, not far from the center of Charlotte. But there's several players, Charles, who are on this Brevard College roster from that same area. Did you guys know each other coming up, and did you play against any of these guys? And is there some history with the kind of the crew out of Charlotte?
Sadly, no. I didn't get the chance to play any of those guys. Different conferences and stuff like that. No.
Yeah, no problem. But certainly, you guys are probably able to, talk some reminisce a little bit about, back home and that kind of thing while you're here. But Charles, tell us a little bit about your, evolution as a basketball player. When did you get started? When did it become serious? And then how'd you find Brevard?
I started playing basketball at 5. My dad introduced me to basketball. Well, first soccer was my first sport. I really liked soccer, but I quit that to play basketball. And in high school, I played JV 9th and 10th grade, and I got the 10th grade. I got the opportunity to move up to varsity for the playoffs. So I got a chance to see what that was like. We made it to the 3rd round, but Brevard. How did I get to Brevard? My one of my high school coach, he knows Coach Miles, so he introduced me, and we started talking and went from there. I came on my visit. I like the visit with Coach Burgess, and I committed right there.
Garrett, we spoke about your, kind of high school, experience, but tell us even further back when you got started playing. Charles said, he started real young. How about yourself?
I'd say same thing. I mean, I always played like in church league when I was a little kid, but seriously around like third or fourth grade, they my friend group like of dads kind of put together a little AAU team of some of like the better players in our little rec league, and we went out and started playing tournaments, and ever since then I kind of fell in love with it.
Now, Charles, I'd love to let people know a little bit just what kind of player, at least from what I'm observing, and then also from the stat sheet. Team leader in rebounds. I don't know if you even realize that, but second on the team in steals. And one of these guys who I've heard you described as a defensive stopper. You can get in there and take care of business as far as maybe the top scorer on the other squad. Can you describe yourself as far as that part of your game? Obviously, the type of player you are and the kind of things that you bring to the equation for this Tornado squad.
Yes, sir. Ever since I was young, I've been one of the smallest guys on the court. So my dad has told me, if you want to stay on the court, you gotta do the little things. If that's guard, rebound, stuff like that. So that's always been my mentality, is try to be the best defender and stop whoever's on the other team.
Yeah, in multiple steals in the last 5 games. You've got several multiple steal performances, throughout your career. Tell us a little bit about the art of the steal. I mean, we keep track of them when you guys are able to get a steal and then turn that into points on the other end and so forth. But, kind of bring us behind the curtain a little bit as far as, what does a player need to do in order to come up with those opportunities defensively?
I guess it's a mentality thing. I'm quick. I'm quick with my hands. I try to read what the offensive player's gonna do, stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, Garrett, I know defense is an emphasis throughout the program and certainly a big part of your game as well. What would you tell young players as far as, how important it is to work on defense and the little things like Charles is talking about? I know a lot of them just want to, bomb threes and run the fast break and that kind of thing, but obviously you got to get it done on the defensive side as well.
No, it's so important, and especially nowadays when kids are watching NBA players bomb 35, 40-foot jumpers. I'd say for young people, do stuff that doesn't get shown in the stat sheet, because coaches really do look at that stuff. And that's really the things that really turn the tides of games, whether it's getting a defensive stop, forcing a turnover, stuff like that.
Now, meanwhile, you mentioned the 3-ball. That's a weapon of your own, Garrett. And, a few games back, there was these back-to-back road wins over Methodist and Greensboro, and you were able to put up 14 and 15 points respectively. A lot of that coming from beyond the arc. Tell us a little bit about your offensive game and thinking back to those performances in particular. What did it feel like it was clicking?
No, yeah, we had a few guys down that game. We had some injuries, and I was put in a position where I got a few more minutes, and we needed some more scoring, and I was able to fulfill. And I guess my shots were falling a little bit, but yeah, no, my jumpers were feeling good on that truck for sure.
Yeah, it sounds good. Just to have the depth that you guys have, a lot of guys with a lot of different weapons. You guys can score in a lot of different ways, and like you said, get it done on the the other side of the equation, which is so important. Tell us a little bit, Garrett, about your studies. What are you focused on here at Brevard College, and tell us a little bit of what you're working on academically.
So I'm a business major. I declared at the end of last year, and I'm also doing a pre-law minor. So I'm thinking about finishing up my business degree and then possibly pursuing a law school after my undergrad.
Outstanding. How about yourself, Charles?
I'm a business major as well with the culture minor. So I might be interested in some coaching down the line. Who knows?
Very good. Certainly a good program here for that as well. And before we let you go, do want to let you each have the opportunity to give any shout outs, thank yous, anybody who may have helped you along the way. We'll start with you, Charles Reed. What's on your mind? Who would you like to thank? Give a shout out to. The floor is yours.
First off, I want to thank my family, my dad, my mom, my sister, and my brother. They supported me through this journey, and they've been there each and every way, and I just want to thank them. Second, I want to thank Coach Miles and Coach Burgess for giving me the opportunity to play basketball at the college level. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be right now. And last but not least, I want to thank my teammates. They've been there. I love those guys. There's never a dull moment with those guys. I love off the court moments and on the court. I appreciate them.
Well said, Charles. And I also want to give you a shout out as well. You helped us on the sports information side of things during the fall sports. Really appreciate your efforts there and helping us behind the scenes, bring some of that soccer action, which I didn't know you had this, soccer career. We might better be careful that Coach Eldana isn't watching the show. You might be out there before you know it. Garrett, Sutherland, same opportunity for you. Shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah, I want to first thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here and play basketball. I want to thank my mom and dad. I wouldn't be here without their support. They're the most supportive people I know. Shout out my boy Finetto back home, trainer. Wouldn't be here without that. Shout out my AAU coaches growing up, Coach Armstrong, Coach Mike. Wouldn't be here without them. And shout out my teammates. Love those boys. As Charles said, never a dull moment in that locker room or on the court.
Outstanding. Well, best of luck this week as you guys prepare for Southern Virginia. Can't wait to see you back here at the Bosch for these final few home games, and really enjoy watching you guys do your thing out there. Can't wait to see what's next. Charles Reed, Garrett Sutherland, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. Have a good one.
All right, there they go, Charles Reed and Garrett Sutherland. I want to thank them along with Associate Head Coach Miles Leathers for the men's basketball program for joining us this evening. Also, we had Assistant Coach Annalee Bollinger from women's basketball, along with women's basketball student athletes Shania Hauser and Jada Wilkins. If you missed it, Jaden Carnes named USA South Men's Basketball Rookie of the Week for his performance this past weekend. Congratulations to him. We've got softball and women's lacrosse scrimmaging this weekend. We've got women's basketball here at the Bosch on Friday and Saturday. Hope to see you at a Brevard College event sometime soon. Go to bctornadoes.com for all those schedules and follow the Tornadoes on social media at BC Tornadoes at Twitter and Instagram, and the Brevard College Tornado Athletics Facebook page as well, and the YouTube channel where we will bring you all the home action. Thank you, Roya Tomasabi, Cassidy Hutto, and Emily Denega for their help behind the scenes. And thank you, NATO Nation, for joining in us for another edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!